Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast. It's UFC Rio. Your main event is Charles do Bronx Oliveira and Mateusz Gamrot stepping in for Rafael Fiziev. Both are good fights. Looking forward to this one. I'm Sniper. That's Monk. Follow me at Sniper Wins. Follow Monk at Monk MMATICS. Smash the like button on this video. And now, after the intro, I have to victory lap. We built the optimal again in DFS Army last week. I think we're in like 4 optimals in the last 8 cards. I will admit it was a pretty chalky optimal this week. There were a ton of ties, but still, built the optimal on the show on my YouTube channel. Tons of screenshots in the Discord. You want to join up? Link down below in the description. Make sure you get in. And other than joining in the victory lap at Monk, how was your week last week?
Pretty good, and I'd love to join in. I love the Yana Santos. Both Santos has paid off. I called Daniel Santos in the second round. Jakob Whitlocks comes through, gets the win over a terrible-looking Patchy Mix. Kill shot, cash it, baby. Love to see that.
That was a good one. I probably lean. I do think Patchy Mix probably won, but anyone saying it was a robbery is a little bit fucking delusional.
I want to go back and watch because I thought Whitlocks won majority of the second round, at least the first half.
Yeah, but the bigger strikes were on Mix's side. That's why I was like, I'd probably give it to Mix, but anybody claiming robbery has not been watching MMA recently.
Yeah, coming out that second round, his eye was already shut. I was like, oh my God, is this going to happen?
And it did.
And it did.
Pretty much. All right, we got 13 fights to go over this week. One more time, guys, smash the like button, give you fight breakdowns, talk a little bit of DraftKings strategy, and let's go ahead and let's just dive right into it here. Going to start with the first fight of the night, Luan Lacerda and Saimon Oliveira. Lacerda is minus 245. Oliveira is plus 210. Your fight ends inside the distance, minus 400. So we are starting off the night with immediately what should be a pretty solid GPP fight to target. Your DraftKings salaries for this one. Lacerda is 8,900. Saimon Oliveira is 7,300. Monk, we didn't talk about this before the show, but I'm going to switch it up on you, and I'm going to go first and let you chime in with the stats right afterwards because it's been throwing me off recently. So I'm going to try and, rather than getting yelled at for stepping on you, I'm just going to say my piece, and then I'm going to try and shut up. Unless you say something stupid. And if I say something stupid, please feel free to jump in. What the hell was I going to say? Speaking of stupid. Oh, yeah. This is a weird one because both guys suck. Both guys aggressively suck. Like, Luan Lacerda is 0-2 in the UFC. Granted, Cody Stamann, Damon Blackshear, decent quality of competition. Saimon Oliveira is 0-3 in the UFC. And split decision win over Jose Alday in the Contender Series in 2021. Okay. As I said to open up this breakdown, both these guys appear to suck. I agree that I think Lacerda sucks less. I think he's better. Minus 400 inside the distance screams GPP. This is one I don't think you can be overconfident either way. I want to be overweight to both, but I will lean on Luan Lacerda here for the win. But this is a rough fight to start us off. Who you got?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Lacerda sucks a little less, in my opinion, but both guys are terrible defensively. One of them has to get their first UFC fight, you would think, and the other one probably doesn't get re-signed. You would think. We'll see. It could be, a double knockout.
They're definitely fighting for slips. 100%.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Both of them have terrible defense. The one thing that jumps out to me, if anything does, with Lacerda compared to Oliveira is the takedown defense. He's got a 75% and Oliveira has a 39%. Obviously, we do not have the biggest sample size there. And most of that was one Tony Gravely. He took him down 11 of 15 times. So I don't know how much you can really weigh that. But that's kind of where I'm going. He looked... neither guy looked decent in any of their wins. They were all kind of blowout wins. I guess the Stamann-Lacerda fight was the closest one on paper anyways, but Lacerda still got outstruck. Didn't get out-controlled and landed a takedown, but that's about it. So one of these guys has to do something. I guess I'll pick Luan Lacerda to get it done. Probably, hopefully inside the distance, minus 400. But again, what is it? 8,900? That is super risky. So only a GPP fight here. Don't touch it in cash. Don't even look that way. And yeah, give me
No,
Lacerda. Give me Lacerda. Just sucks a little bit less, as you said,
but it is a good GPP fight.
for
Definitely
sure.
probably top quarter of the card to target. And we go from that to one of the worst ones to target. Julia Polastri and Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Polastri is minus 450? Question mark. Voice goes up. Karolina Kowalkiewicz is plus 350. Fight goes to decision minus 375. Strongly expected to see all 3 rounds of action in this one. Your DraftKings salaries: Palastri's 9,400, Kowalkiewicz is 6,800. This is a simple breakdown. Even if I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go out on the limb and pick Karolina Kowalkiewicz, but even if you're on the Polastri side, I don't know, outside of extreme games theory, how you are getting to Polastri. Cannot play her in DraftKings. That is too expensive. I think this line is too wide. Look, Polastri is not a world beater. Let's click over to her stuff real quick. You know, she's 2-2 in the UFC, plus a loss in Contender Series to Jazz Vicious. Obviously,
1 and 2.
her losses are fine. Loopy's fine. I don't know about Knudsen, but look, I don't think she's not a dominant grappler. Kowalkiewicz, the problem here, she's this big of a dog because she's lost 2 straight. Yasmin Lucindo and Denise Gomes is at this point fight old, which is sad because she's 2 months older than me. It's just this is, you know, she's going to turn 40 4 days after the fight. She's fight old. She's a striker, but higher level of competition, definitely better at her peak. This line, I think it's just too wide. I'm going to edge towards Karolina and her experience. A Polastri win won't surprise me, but Polastri paying off in DFS would super surprise me. And I do think Kowalkiewicz at that to go the distance number plus the salary is a lock in your cash game lineup. She is the first fighter in for cash games. And outside of that, I'll play a little bit because I think she's live and she's cheap. And if I get 1% of Polastri, it's over what I'm thinking could happen, but who knows when I build. Yeah, don't want much of it. Monk, who you got?
Yeah, I agree. I picked KK as well to outright win the fight. The over 2.5 is minus 4.25, GTD minus 400, and she does a lot more than probably people think of. Like when you hear Karolina Kowalkiewicz's name, you probably think, okay, she fought some good people, but what does she actually do? She's not a takedown person. She doesn't control the grappling time. Well, she does land in her career 18 fights, 5.5 strikes a minute. She also absorbs 5.5, but that's exactly what Julia Polastri does. 5.6 absorbs 5.4. So we're pretty much even there. Polastri, you know, doesn't have some crazy reach or height advantage. We're not worried about takedowns here. She also gets out controlled basically 2-1. So yeah, I'm definitely going with Karolina Kowalkiewicz because if this goes to decision, which it should, according to the odds makers, she should score okay in those decision losses. So we're hoping for 30, 40 points, something like that. That would be clutch at like what, 6,800. Polastri at 94 is fucking crazy. She is 1-2 in the UFC. The Alujas fight was also a Dana White Contender Series fight. So yeah, she's lost to Knudsen. Godinez. Her only win is Corey freaking McKenna. Like, who cares? I don't rate her highly at all. Kowalkiewicz lost to Gomez and Lucindo, 2 fighters that are decent in my opinion. She rattled off 4 in a row against less than stellar competition, but she's fought the best of the best. I mean, we've got Grasso, Yan Xiaonan. Jessica Penne was the last time she was finished, and that was via submission. If you know Jessica Penne, you know that's all she does. She's a just strict primary wrestler who has submissions. So I still rate Kowalkiewicz decently. I honestly thought she was retired until I saw her name here. So it's good to see her back. And hopefully, you know, she can get it done. Not necessarily inside the distance, but, you know, a win at 6,800 basically puts her optimal, even if she scores like 70 points. So I don't trust Polastri. And yeah, got to back KK on this one.
If she can get non-violent fighters with how long she's been around, I don't know what I'll look later, but she's probably got to be on at least 100, right?
Has
bringing
to
in
be.
that Andre Arlovsky money, a little bit less. Like, dude, take all of it. And like, there's an outside shot. Polastri knows that her path is grappling, and she's not like she's totally incapable. Did it against McKenna. I guess she could do it against KK. That's the outside shot, but it seems like such a low outcome. And at that price, I still don't know if she makes it. Like, I guess the slimmest possibility is there, but I'm not going to be going there. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we're going to flip-flop back to one of the best fights to target again. But it's the one I think I have the strongest take on, and I am horrified. Because it's Valter Walker and Mohammed Usman, the brothers of two other UFC fighters. Walker, minus 315. Usman, plus 265. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 165. It's because Usman is not a finishing machine. Under 2.5 rounds is minus 135. A little bit interesting there. Your DraftKings salaries for this one: Valter Walker is 9,200, Usman is 7,000. Valter Walker is a great example of, listen, it's not a knock on him, but he's kind of showed why heavyweight's a little suspect. 3 straight fucking heel hooks, and I get it, but we're talking Ryan Hall years. Like, heavyweight seems to be like 10 years fucking behind in terms of MMA technique. But he's getting the job done, and I think he's got a great matchup here. I'm a little disturbed at how much I like him because Usman is either going to grapple or gas. Like, he has to grapple. Sorry. In this fight, I think he has to grapple. I don't think he's going to be able to outstrike Valter the way he did Hamdi, because Valter's going to force distance being close and force big shots. I guess Usman could land a check hook, and that's why I'll have a little bit. But I think Usman, his path here would be grappling and getting on top and closing the distance in the clinch. And if he does that, I think he's going to play right into Valter's hands, where Valter can look for another heel hook. A 4th straight heel hook, going to surprise me 0%. Valter's going to be aggressive, close, and I think get a submission. I'll play a little bit of Usman. I'm not going to full fade him. Oh, I don't think I did other prices, by the way. I think I skipped over that part. Got so excited to talk about the fight. Walker's 9,200, Usman 7,000. I'm going to be over on Walker, and I'm probably going to be about field, maybe a little bit under on Usman. This is a great fight to target, but it's one I feel pretty strong about. I agree with the odds. I'm about Valter Walker in this one. It paid off for us this week last week. Very similar spot with Edmund Shabazian. Scary at first, and then he took over and ended up on the optimal. Of that upper 9K range, I just think the fight favors Valter Walker a ton. Like a ton. So I'll be over on Valter Walker and do what you want with Usman. But yeah, you know where I'm going. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, I agree. 4 straight heel hooks is definitely in the cards here. I don't rate. Yeah, for sure. I don't rate Mohammed Usman very highly. You said he has to grapple, which, yeah, he does. Which, 89% control time out of 100 possible percent is pretty good, but he only lands, 0.19 takedowns per 15. He's only landed takedowns in, I think, 2 fights. One was Jake Collier and one was Junior Tafa, and that's where most of his control time came from. That's 15 minutes in those 2 fights. Otherwise, it's 2 seconds, 0 seconds, 0 seconds, and 0 seconds against Abdelwahab, Peterson, and Parkin. So I'm not really expecting a ton of that from Usman. But if some reason he decides to do that, I mean, yeah, what's he going to do against Valter Walker? That's really not a good idea, because the dude doesn't strike. He only grapples and wrestles, which has been good for us. And I think it can continue to be good even at 9,200. He scores pretty well, 110 points per win, which is exactly what we would need to consider him for the optimal lineup here. So I really like Valter Walker this week. I don't know what Mohammed Usman's possibly going to do here outside of just one big shot that knocks him out, but he also doesn't do that. He knocked out Zach Paunga, and then it's decision over Junior Tafa. How? Decision over Jake Collier, decision Parkin, decision Peterson, just decision. I don't see what he's going to do here. Walker throws up 0.68 submission attempts per 5 minutes. Might not sound like a lot. That is a gigantic number. Also, another gigantic number is the 0.23 reversals per 5 minutes. That is a huge number. So if Usman somehow lands a takedown, he's likely going to get reversed and just get smashed. So I think Walker is one of the best plays on the card. I'm playing him in all formats. And if Karolina is the first one, he is the second one in my cash lineup.
I mean, it's a bit of a risk for cash, but I don't hate it. I love him. The matchup seems too good.
Yeah,
seems too good. And they are, what you can say is they're heavyweights. Valter is on a roll. He's going to close probably a little recklessly. I don't think Usman will make him pay, but 4-ounce gloves at heavyweight, it wouldn't be the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
It
and
wouldn't be
heavyweights.
it wouldn't be the way Tristan Vines fell over last week.
No. Yeah, and heavyweight is so thin because if you're that big and that athletic, you're probably playing a sport that pays you more than like 20 and 20. So that's kind of where we're at here with these lower echelon guys.
All right, I gotta switch where I'm looking here. Let's move on and let's talk Lucas Rocha and Stewart Nicoll. Rocha is minus 130. Nicoll, the comeback is plus 110. Fight, I think this is an end inside the distance. It is at minus 180. DraftKings salaries for this one. Rocha's 8,500. Nicoll is 7,700. I'm going to be honest. This is the one I think I flip-flopped on the most, and I believe I wrote that in my notes. I did. This is weird because I think Stewart Nicoll can wrestle and control where the fight goes. But is it going to surprise me if he gets knocked out trying to do that? We're really still trying to get a gauge on how good these guys are overall because Lucas Rocha, 0-1 in the UFC, got choked out by Clayton Carpenter, beat Davey Bittencourt in the Contender Series, was taken down 5 times and then got a second round knockout. He's been taken down 7 times in his first 2 fights. Nicoll lost to Jesus Aguilar. He got caught in a guillotine. If he doesn't get caught in the guillotine, if he can get takedowns and not get caught in the sub, sure. Lucas Rocha, it's got big power on the regional scene. We've seen him put guys away. It's a little weird. We got minus 180 to end inside the distance 125ers. That's a little weird. And that kind of will push me over the edges. This weight class in the UFC at the higher levels typically don't see a ton of finishes. I'll take the guy who I think can control more minutes. And that to me is Stewart Nicoll. That's where the pick is going to be. It's really thin, though. I have flip-flopped on it because I think on the feet, Rocha is more dangerous. That plus the line value is getting back towards a pick'em where I think it should be. And DraftKings has this price at 8,500, 7,700. You're going to get instant odds value on Stewart Nicoll. It'll be chalky value. Everyone's going to see it. But I still think that's the right side of this fight. So give me Stewart Nicoll. Mark, how about for you?
Yeah, I actually agree. I'm on Stewart Nicoll this week, and looking at Rocha's numbers, I just don't know what he does well. Obviously, he's got power because he's got 10 knockouts.
It's the regional scene.
At flyweight.
It doesn't show in your stats.
Exactly. Yeah, it is the regional scene. He's only landing, in the one DWCS and UFC fight, which is we only have 12 and a half minutes, I should say, of stats to even look at. So it's not a big sample size at all. 2 strikes a minute, gets hit with 4.5. He does have the power. He's not landing takedowns. He is getting out-controlled 97% to 3%. So I really don't know what he's going to do here. Nicoll should probably be 1-0, but he got caught, like you said. But before that, he controlled 2 minutes, 4 seconds of a 2-minute, 39-second fight, had a takedown, had more than double the strikes of his opponent. I know it's 8-3, but still, he was looking good in those first 2 minutes until he got caught. So his defensive numbers are still decent. Hopefully he looks to improve on that this time, not get caught by one Lucas Rocha, but you shouldn't have to worry about, getting gillied, hopefully, by this guy, even though he does have 4 submissions. But it's just a very small sample size from both guys. One looks a lot better on paper than the other. Nicoll's never been TKO'd, I believe. Yeah, only Aguilar is the only one that finished him, whereas Rocha has been subbed, has been KO'd before, just seems a little bit more volatile. And I just kind of like what I saw from Stewart Nicoll out of that first 2 minutes. If he didn't get caught in that, I mean, we're talking about a pretty dominant round 1 overall, and who knows what the rest of the fight looks like. Maybe he gasses. We don't really know that yet. So I'm going to pick Stewart Nicoll. I'm going to have more of him in GPP lineups, and hopefully I don't need him in cash games because I'd like to look for something a little bit more secure than that. But again, his numbers looked pretty good for the small sample size that we have on both guys.
Yeah, the odds value makes him live in cash.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, for sure.
Put him in play. All right, let's talk Irina Alekseeva, Russian Ronda, I believe, taking on Bia Mesquita. Mesquita, minus 525. I'll explain to you why in a second. Plus 385 for Irina Alekseeva. You may have not heard of Bia Mesquita. She's minus 525 in this fight is minus 250 to end inside the distance. This is not a women's fight where the dog is plug her into your cash lineup like a Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Mesquita is the most expensive fighter on the card at 9,600. Alekseeva is 6,600. Bia is a grappling wizard who is transitioning to MMA, and she's 5-0. She's, I think, 5-0, running through people in Bellator, running through people in the regional scene. A lot of times you would say, okay, well, that person fighting somebody in Alekseeva who has won in the UFC, you would go, well, this is going to be a test here. Let's take a shot in the dog. The problem is Alekseeva is 1-2 in the UFC, won by Nibar. She lost to Melissa Mullins, lost to Claudia Segula, cannot get takedowns. Her takedown defense is okay. But what Alekseeva does best, like in the knee bar, you would think she's going to be able to, to grapple. I don't think she's going to be able to keep Mesquita off her. I think Mesquita nullifies one Alekseeva's strength and is just better at it and is going to dominate her. Like, Russian Ronda's a 5'8", 135, a 5'8", 135er. Mesquita 5'4", 135, and Mesquita is just. I think that height is going to help her get on the takedowns. She's strong. We know she can grapple. If the fight gets to the 10, 15 into the late second, early third round, and unless Mesquita has really been able to control position, doesn't look tired at all, this is, I will say, a live bet look at Alekseeva, because I would be a little bit worried about Mesquita fading if there's more stand-up than I'd like here. But how do I see the fight going? Mesquita getting takedowns and smashing and probably getting a submission. Like, it's weird to like a UFC debutante who's the most expensive fighter on the card, but they got her a good matchup here. I like Bia. I like my grappler, so maybe there's some bias there. But I don't mind paying up for Bia this week. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, I agree. I picked her to win. For GPPs, I don't mind for sure. It's not 9,800 like we had last week with Gauthier. But I'm having
96,
trouble.
96.
Or yeah. Well, it's not 98 like we had with him.
Oh,
It's
not
only
98.
96
Okay,
this week. But yeah, she's a 34-year-old debutante, and not saying that's old because it's not, at least compared to me and you, but
no,
it is a bit old. It is a bit
old.
old to be a prospect. It's a bit old to have only 5 MMA fights. One of them was a DQ win. So really she's obviously 5-0, but she's only got 4 finishes instead of that 5th one. I'm having a hard time figuring out how she's going to pay off 9,600. And since I don't know, and I preach this every week on every show that I'm on, grappling takedowns and non-significant strikes is what makes you break the slate. We saw it with Hamzat, Merab. I mean, countless fucking people. Merab maybe just set a record for the most points scored of all time. I don't remember what Hamzat scored, but it's so awesome. But yeah, so I don't know how she does. I don't know if she's working for transitions on the ground or if she's actually trying to land damage. If I knew that, I would play more of her if I knew she was going to land those pity pat strikes that add up so quickly and so well, because Alekseeva has no defense whatsoever. I mean, her best attribute is she has landed with power. She lands 4 strikes a minute, but she eats 5. She has no accuracy. She has no defense. She has no takedown. She gets controlled 80-20. It's really, really bad. I mean, her takedown defense is at 66.67, which isn't great, not terrible. But again, that was probably who do we got here? Oh, she's only been taken down once, I guess, on 2 attempts, but even still, I got to go with Beatriz, but I just don't know that she's going to pay that off. So I'll play her in GPPs. I'm not touching it, not touching this fight at all in cash games.
I don't mind Bia as a potential pay up.
Yeah, I mean, she could score a bunch of points. I just don't know what she looks like on the ground, really.
Here's, what it is? If you're looking at fighters over 9K, we'll do a little bit of the cash talk here. Here are your options, 9K or over. Just give me a yes or no. Would you pay them and play them in cash? The first one is the one I think where the difference is here for us. Montel Jackson at 9K.
Yes.
See, I'm a no, but everything else I think we're going to agree on. Vitor Petrino.
Probably.
Oh, for cash, I think it's too risky. I think it's a GPP fight.
It is pretty risky. I'd rather have Montel for sure.
Yeah. Valter Walker is a yes.
Yes.
Polastri is a no. And I think we know. I think Alvarez Lucas is a pretty clear GPP fight as well.
Yeah.
And then you got Bia. Like, I think it's Bia versus Montel for your second spot at 9K and above. But a little bit of spoilers there, Montel. Guys. We will see. I do not. And this is the one, it's a good transition because this is one where we just talked about. Vitor Petrino is minus 310. Thomas Peterson is plus 260. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 210. Your DraftKings salaries, Vitor Petrino is 9,100. Thomas Peterson is 7,100. And while I am picking Vitor Petrino, I like him in the spot. I just like Walker a little bit more in terms of this exact range. Thomas Peterson has a way of getting the fight where he wants it. It's a little bit similar to the Usman spot, to the Walker-Usman fight as well, because when Peterson succeeds, it's because he's grappling. 2 takedowns against Mohammed Usman, 3 against Chandler Cole, 9 against Dontel Mays. Couldn't grapple effectively against Pogues or Gaziev, lost the fight. Vitor Petrino, 71%. A lot of those came against his back and forth wild fight against the Pleasure Man, which I know I just had to say because Mung loves the Pleasure Man. But look, he's controlling fights. I think he's got the better grappling. I think he's stronger. I don't think Peterson's going to have his way grappling is my point. And if he can't do that, then I think Petrino could knock him out. He could grapple Peterson. I think there's plenty of paths for Petrino. I'm a little worried about the volume here because Petrino can be low volume. And if he's not getting those takedowns or if he's having success in the feet, he's not guaranteed to put up a big score despite that minus 210 number. I see some volume concerns here in terms of the scoring potential. I will still be overweight to Petrino. I do like him in this spot. And Peterson, in terms of dogs to pay down for, I think he's fine because it's a minus 210 inside the distance prop fight. It's just not a priority. I like him more than I like Alekseeva or Luke Gay or Kaan Awfully, who we're going to talk about. I fucking hate that motherfucker this week. Can't wait to talk about that fight. So he's in the mix in terms of, GPP punts, but I'm definitely on the Petrino side. How about for you, Monk?
Yeah, I agree. I'm on the Petrino side for sure. Yes, he is lower volume, lands about a strike less per minute than Thomas Peterson does, but the takedowns are there, the grappling time is there. And Thomas Peterson has the same thing on the numbers. I mean, 99% control time is fucking crazy. 1.5 takedowns per 5 minutes is crazy. But look who he's fighting. Like Dontel Mays, 9 of 9. You can't. Anyone could do that to Dontel
Monk always
Mays.
called him Milk Sack. Oh, not Monk. Sorry, Geek always called him Milk Sack to this day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's fighting Mohammed Usman. That's the only guy that. Actually, that's not the only guy. I guess Chandler Cole did it in the DWCS. Whoever that isn't that guy the announcer for WWE or something. But Mohammed Usman, one attempt is the only attempt that's been made against him in the UFC. I mean, Jamal Pogues isn't doing it. Gaziev Mays isn't doing it. So Petrino is going to test that 100% takedown defense of Thomas Peterson for sure. And what Thomas Peterson lacks mostly is his power in the UFC. Yes, he's got 7 KO TKO wins. He's got none in the UFC. Decision over Mays, decision over Usman, decision. I guess that's it. He did sub Chandler Cole, but that's DWCS. So I really like Petrino here. He might be lower volume, but he does pack a punch. I think he's got better takedowns. I think he's got better control. I think he's the better all-around fighter. But I agree. You should play both sides in GPPs because who knows? Petrino could just, sometimes he does Petrino things and where he doesn't look good. But that said, he's lost to Anthony Smith, which was a very stupid loss. We both called that one. He's going to get gillied, and he put himself in a guillotine. Not ideal. And then he got KO'd by Jacoby, who is a very good kickboxer, very good striker overall, and Petrino's just not that level. So he was unable to get takedowns against Dustin Jacoby, which was the problem. But I think he can do that against Peterson. So I'm looking for Petrino to hopefully finish inside the distance. If not, I'd love to see a couple takedowns and really a lot of work on the ground if we're going to win by decision. Because I think even at 9,100, if he goes that route and he racks up some points, he can definitely pay off that salary. So I agree with you as far as placement. I don't like him as much as Walker. You don't agree here. I don't like him as much as Jackson, but I think he's right. He's right in that range for sure.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the feature prelim. Jafel, Filho, and Clayton Carpenter. Carpenter, now the favorite at minus 120. Filho is plus 100. Fight goes to decision. I knew it was relatively close, that's why I hesitated. Minus 145 to see all 3 rounds of action. Your DraftKings salaries here. It's the mid-range fight. Carpenter's 8,200. Filho is 8,000. I think the Filho should be slightly favored here. This is probably one where I'm going to go bet Jafel Filho. I think he is being a little underrated. I think he can get takedowns. I think Carpenter can give up takedowns. We've seen it. On top of that, if this fight's favored to go to decision, well, I think Filho is going to win more minutes. Plus, he's the Brazilian in Brazil. If you want that little extra nudge there, which we're going to talk about, I think a little bit more in the main on the main card. All signs to me point towards Jafel Filho. I think it's an okay fight to target for GPPs. Both the other mid-range fights are better. Gamrot Oliveira, Pinto Diniz are the other mid-range fights. They're both better for GPP. But I do think this fight is fine. It's not one I'm going to ignore. It's not one, it's not Aswell Almeida or some of the favorites like Polastri I'm going to be ignoring. So give me Filho, probably a better bet than a DFS fight, but okay overall. I think the takedowns are going to rear their ugly head here. Clayton Carpenter's got 42% takedown defense. Monk, tell us about it.
Yeah, that is kind of a hole there. I like Carpenter just a bit better overall. I think
I led you into it.
Yeah, I think he's more well-rounded overall. Like both guys have a decent amount. I mean, Filo's got like almost 50 minutes of fight time. Carpenter has 40. And in that fight time, they both average about the same amount of takedowns per 5. They both get taken down about the same amount per 5 minutes, even though one's takedown defense is significantly lower than the other. And then Carpenter averages more grappling time overall. Both of them throw up a ton of submissions, reversals. The edge that Carpenter has is obviously his volume. He's landing 2 strikes more per minute than Filho is. Neither of them are absorbing anywhere close to 3. So I just like that edge a little bit more from Carpenter. I think he's got more tools to use. And I'm just not a fan of what I've seen from Filho overall. Every time he fights someone that can kind of wrestle, which is Nascimento and Mikhaev, they can do more than kind of wrestle. He loses. Carpenter's only lost to he's also lost to a premier wrestler in Tajir Ulanbekov. No one else has really tried to take him down. So it's going to be a battle of the takedowns and control. Who can get it done over the other person? So I just happen to like Carpenter just a bit more, not touching it in cash. Don't want it. But definitely a GPP fight for sure. Even though it's minus 145 GTD, I still think this is a great opportunity to land, to get some takedown points, some control points. And we'll see if the striking of Carpenter pays off in the end. Because while Filho has very low volume, he also absorbs 1 strike less per minute than Carpenter does. So mostly because he's got his opponents in either control positions or something like that. He's also been knocked down. I believe it was by Daniel Perez. So Carpenter does not have any knockdowns of his own. He's only got 2 KO TKO finishes. But at the same time, Filho is the submission guy who's been subbed twice. So there's a lot of question marks in the air here. I'm just going to go with the guy that has, that brings a couple more tools to the work site here. And I'll go with Clayton Carpenter.
A little bit disagreeing from us this week. This is interesting. It's the first time in a while.
Right.
Michael Aswell, and Lucas Almeida. Aswell's minus 145. Almeida is plus 125. Fight odds doesn't even want to talk about this fight. It's minus 140 to go to decision here. Your DraftKings salaries should be right in the mid-range. Aswell is 8,600. Almeida is 7,600. Look, again, this is not a good fight to target. We're kind of in that this week, kind of the middle of the card is where I think things dip off. Last week it was pretty back heavy, and that paid off. This week, I think we start off okay, a little lull in terms of good fights to target, and then we close decently strong here. I lean towards Almeida because I just think he's a little bit better overall, and again, in Brazil, going to the scorecards and what I think is going to be a close fight. And at these prices, I'm just going to take Lucas Almeida. It's not even a hard line take here. Just, as well as 0-1 in the UFC, lost to Bogdan Grad and Balaji Oki. Both guys are okay, I guess. Stand and trade doesn't have, plenty of strikes. But I don't think Lucas Almeida is going, the volume of both these guys is actually up there. But he's been in there. Yes, he's 2-4 in the UFC. Or 2-4, 2-3 in the UFC, one overall. But his losses, Andre Fili, Danny Silva, Pat Sabatini, and Contender Series against Daniel Zellhuber. Like, this is a strong fucking strength of schedule here. Like, it's got to be up there. As well, got Grad and Oki. pretty good strength of schedule as well. I think Almeida's got a little more impact on his shots. Plus, they're in Brazil. Close fight. Give me Aswell. But I think we're going to see 3 rounds of strike. And if we go to decision, this one won't end up on the optimal. Monk, who do you got?
Yeah, I also picked Michael Aswell here.
I picked Almeida.
Oh, you just said give me Aswell. So yeah,
Did I?
yeah. So we'll
I meant
disagree.
give me Almeida. God,
We'll disagree
so
on.
I see what happens. Is you don't listen to the breakdown. You just tune in for the last 5 seconds. I appreciate it.
That's right. Real
That's what I do.
professional, this guy. No, I like.
We got Contender Series on. What are we supposed to do here?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jesus, that guy. I look up every 10 seconds, and this guy's a little bit bloodier every time. I agree. The strength of schedule is very good for both guys overall. But that said, Almeida's only wins have come against Kwamba and Trezano. I know he's not getting matched up with quote unquote easier fighters. That's not his fault, but that's just what it is. Both guys have terrible striking defenses. In fact, Almeida actually gets outstruck. He gets outcontrolled like 4-1. And he's not yet landed a takedown in the UFC while giving up almost half a takedown per 5 minutes at a 54% rate. Meanwhile, Aswell, and this is going to sound crazy, but his striking is Josh Van-esque in the. I mean, I know this is a small sample size, so we'll start off with that. But so far, 7 strikes a minute in the first, 9 in the second, and over 11 in the third round. We've got 10 minutes of each round there to work with, so it's not a ton again, but it is some. So his striking is much more, prolific as far as volume than Almeida. But other than that, neither guy has good striking defense whatsoever. Aswell also has a terrible takedown defense, but again, we have not seen that from Lucas Almeida, and he also gets out controlled. So it's kind of a not who sucks worse, because I don't think it's like that first fight we talked about, but because I think these guys are decent. And Aswell on paper, you could make an argument that he won that Bogdan Grad fight. And the Oki fight was extremely, extremely close. He almost battled back to win that, and I would not have been surprised if we at least saw a split, but possibly even a win for him. So I think he's right on the cusp of putting it all together, figuring it all out here. I think Lucas Almeida is a damn good opponent for him, and I just like him just a little bit more here in this fight. So we're going against the hometown guy, and give me Michael Aswell to hopefully win a decision with a ton of takedowns. And he's a guy that will land those non-significant strikes and really rack up those points. What did he score anyways? Lastly, against Oki, he put up 47, and in the loss against Bogdan Grad, 68.7. Now that might not sound like a lot, but those are both fantastic losing scores in a 15-minute fight. So yeah, I like what I've seen from Aswell. Give me him to get the win and a ton of points.
Let's see if we don't agree on this one. We're gonna have to have a long conversation, because I know we're gonna agree up here in the co-main event, but we have to agree.
Oh yeah, we're agreeing on this.
Ricardo Ramos and Kaan Offley. Oh man, Ramos is minus 185. Really strong parlay piece, guys. Plus 155 for Kaan Offley. Fight ends at a distance, minus 125. Your DraftKings, so 50-50 to go to the scorecards. Your DraftKings salaries for this one: Ramos is 8,800, Offley is 7,400. Ramos live in cash games. Look, I don't mind playing him everywhere. I think Kaan Offley is bad. I've said it on this podcast before. I'll say it again. Like, he's 0-2 in the UFC now. Lost a Contender Series fight to Myron Santos. Lost to Mohammed Naimov. I know he got controlled in that fight. I actually think it was not looking good for Naimov. Ramos, on the other hand, yes, he's lost to Jourdain, Rocha, Chepe. They're looking to get him a W. And then Tubara Tukagov, Lerone Murphy, Said Nurmagomedov. Holy shit, his losses. I mean, no, he's 8 and quick look like 8-6, 8-7 in the UFC. This is a solid career. Wins over Culibao, Chavez, Bill Algio's a decent win. Like, he kind of beats who he's supposed to beat and loses when he gets a tough opponent. And I don't think Kaan Offley is a tough opponent. I think Ramos is going to bend him over, put his boot up his ass, and snap it off in his hindquarters. Because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't think Kaan Offley is this level. I'm trying to. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you hyperbole aside. God, it took me forever to find the word. Hyperbole aside, Ramos just looks way better. I would be surprised if Offley found a way to win. I just don't think he's quite this level, and Ramos is way up on this level. I know he's lost 3 of his last 4, but Ramos is good, man. And again, fighting in Brazil. So I'll take Ramos. I'll be under on Offley, and if he beats me, he beats me. You can't play everybody. This is a stand I will take. Give me Ricardo Ramos pretty much everywhere I can get him. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, I like Ramos here as well. I can't back Offley whatsoever. He is I've been wanting to do it so bad, so fine, I will. He looks so awfully awful. Offley does. So yeah, we're gonna have to not play him. The striking defense is terrible. The striking not terrible, but the striking offense is terrible. 45% accuracy, no takedowns, gets out controlled. I mean, it just looks bad. I would be way higher on Ramos. I'm gonna put him as probably only a GPP play. I'd be way higher on him if he wasn't so fucking inconsistent. Like, you never know what you're going to get with this guy. Like, yeah, he's losing to really good fighters for the most part. But occasionally, like the Rocha fight, like he got subbed in 2 minutes. This is the dude that subs people in 2 minutes, and he got subbed in 2 fucking minutes. Jourdain subbed him in 3 minutes. I mean, those are kind of high-ish level guys, maybe more specialists, I guess. But man, that does not look good when you're trying to roster somebody at $8,800. So this dude is either going to break slates and score like 120, or he's going to, win a boring ass decision where he goes for submissions and doesn't get them. And he's going to score 70, 75 points and not pay off. So
Yeah.
I'd be, like I said, I'd be way higher on him if he wasn't so fucking inconsistent. But I agree with everything else. Offley is terrible. I'm not playing him whatsoever. And if he doesn't win this, he's probably going to get his walking papers as well. So the guy just really doesn't do anything. He does get some control time, but that's all against the cage. Like, Ramos is not going to let him control him against the cage, most likely. So give me Ricardo Ramos to get it done. But yeah, strictly GPP for me because of his inconsistency.
I'll take him in cash because he seems, even if he scores shitty, I feel like it's a safe 75. Like,
That's
let's
fair.
go Johanna Denise and Mario Pinto. Denise is minus 120. Pinto is plus 100. Some books is even, it's flat, minus 107 on Bet 105. Pinto's actually the small favorite on some books. Pick him on Betway. So it's pretty much a 50-50 fight here. Your fight ends inside the distance, minus 170. Pretty good one to target overall. Your DraftKings salaries for this one. Pinto's 8,300. Denise is 7,900. It's high upside. It's a good GPP fight, but it's not an all-in because both guys can lack in the volume department. And Vegas is actually favoring ending in the second round. Pinto, 3.67 strikes a minute, landed 13 in the second round, went over Austin Lane. Okay, Denise, kickboxer guy, usually has got to keep people off of him. Gets him late. A little bit better volume out of him, but it's also because he had a squash opponent in his contender series. It's into the stats a little bit. And Alvin Hines, God bless him for coming in on short notice. And still didn't look that bad. I remember I picked Alvin Hines in this fight, going, he can get takedowns, and Denise has got a giant hole in his game. The takedowns are rough. He beat Austin Lane because Austin Lane gassed out after controlling him the whole first round. He lost to Tabora. Again, couldn't stop a takedown. Mario Pinto, I think, is more well-rounded, but I think he can hang with him on the feet. I think Pinto's a more physical athlete overall. He's 27 years old. Denise is actually 24. I thought Denise was a little bit older.
34.
Regardless, I think Denise I think Pinto's a better athlete, more well-rounded. GPP fight, I'm going to be over on both guys. It's not all in because of the volume concerns. But again, overall pick is Mario Pinto. And don't play this one in cash.
Yeah, I agree with the don't play this in cash, strictly GPP fight. But I'm going to pick the slight underdog in Johanna Denise here. He's landed more volume so far. Oh, yeah, he's landed more volume so far. He does get taken down, but Mario Pinto hasn't shown that at all. He attempted one takedown on Austin Lane, didn't get it. And he's only got one submission win on his record. The rest are six KO TKO wins and then 3 decision wins. So I am going to go with Johanna Denise here. Both guys land with power. He just not, if he doesn't get taken down, this should probably go longer than most people expect. So that's kind of where I'm looking. Pinto, I don't have a ton of stats. He's only fought Austin Lane and then a DWCS fight. Denise has also fought Austin Lane, but the Carl Williams fight is probably the best win between the two of them. And he landed about 4 strikes a minute. He was taken down, controlled a little bit, but he comes back. Seems like he gets taken down and controlled in every fight because that's exactly what happens. But then outside of that Tybura fight, who, I mean, you can't knock him for losing to a pretty good UFC veteran. Excuse me. He does exactly what he's supposed to do. He battles back, he gets up, and he he doesn't always finish, but he's finished a couple of these guys, and he looks better, it seems like, as the fight goes on, as long as he's not on his back. Like 3.5 minutes in the first, or 3.5 strikes in the first, almost 6 in the second, and then a solid 5 in that third round is what he is dropping. So we'll see if Pinto can get it done early, or if Denise is going to come on later and rack up more points in the back end. So that's kind of how I'm looking at this one. Like you said, do not play in cash, but I'll pick the real life Fred Flintstone to get the win here.
Pretty solid arbitrage opportunity here too, by the way. Denise, you can bet minus 107. You can bet both sides of this fight. You can bet Denise minus 107, Pinto plus 123 on Pinnacle. Guarantee yourself some profit.
Yeah, right.
Like, check out the ARB calculator over on Sharp app, and I mean, it's there. It's sitting right here, right? You can go bet both sides, lock in a profit. Again, it's small wins, grind it out, but it's right in front of me. Actually, I just realized our heads are actually blocking it here on the podcast, so I should say, there it is, minus 107 Denise, Pinto plus 123 on Pinnacle. And I will now try and get our gorgeous heads back up there. And we can move on and we can talk about Vicente Luque and Joel Alvarez. Luque is plus 400, Alvarez minus 550. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 400, minus 135 to end under 1.5 rounds. So probably one of the stronger GPP fights on the card for sure. Joel Alvarez is 9,500. Luque is 6,700. I will say that Joel Alvarez has proven me wrong. He gets better and better. Didn't think much of him when he came in, but his striking looks more dangerous, has improved. The grappling threat is there. The wrestling has come along. He looks like a legit threat. I still think this line against Vicente Luque is disrespectful to Vicente Luque. And I'm aware that Joel Alvarez has looked damn good. But I mean, Joel Alvarez is what is he? 4-7-2 in the UFC. Losses to is Magulov in his debut, and then Arman Sarukian can't knock him there. And it's got decent, got impressive knockout wins over Elvis Brenner, Drakkar Klose. Vicente Luque, though, embraces the firefight, and I know he's lost to he's lost 4 of his last 6, but it's Bilal, Jeff Neal, Joaquin Buckley, Kevin Holland. Like, let's fucking just pump the brakes a little bit, guys. I think this is a true test for Joel Alvarez. Now, all of that preamble aside, I'm still going to pick Joel Alvarez. I do think he is the right side to be favored. I just think this is too much. I think he's younger, more aggressive. He's well-rounded. But Luque is plenty live to catch Alvarez coming in. We've seen Luque put out the likes of Bilal Muhammad and plenty others before. We know Luque is, if Alvarez, who when he came in, his submission game was better than his wrestling. If he takes a not smart shot because he's hurt or just makes a mistake, Luque's got a sick anaconda choke, Darce choke. He's really strong at that technique. Like, Luque's got multiple paths to victory. I'm still going to pick Alvarez, but overall, bottom line, I want to be over to both sides of this fight in GPPs, even though Joel Alvarez is 9,500. And just to kind of recap, that means I want to be over on Bia Mosqueta at 9,600 and Joel Alvarez at 9,500 and Valter Walker at 92 and Vitor Petrino at 91. Like, you have to make some choices. That's why you go and you're going to have to hedge back. Okay, I'm still going to have to play some. We got KK, who we talked about. We said Thomas Peterson is live. I'm going to run back some Figgy. We'll talk about that in a second. But there's, Saimon Oliveira is probably going to get some more ownership, not because I think he's great, because that fight is total coin flip in my mind, and he's super cheap. Like, this, to me, this is setting up like a pretty stars and scrubs type of build this week. And you just need to be on the right scrubs. And I think Luque is one I want to be overweight to him. And he might come in at 15% ownership. I can double that up to 25-30. I think I'm fine with that. I want to be over to this fight. I think the line is disrespectful. I cannot emphasize that enough while I'm going to still pick Joel Alvarez. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm on the Alvarez side here. The issue with Luque is, yeah, he's got great volume. I mean, in his career, it's well over 5 strikes a minute. Well, barely, I should say. He does get outstruck slightly, but ever since that Nicoll fight where he got KO'd pretty viciously, I mean, he landed 8 strikes a minute in that one, but that was the brain bleed fight and took a year off and just hasn't looked the same against RDA 2.8 strikes, Buckley 2.5, Garimbo 2.3. Holland was 3.9, but he got hit with, I mean, in all these fights, he got hit with 6.6, 5.7, 6.6. Like, he's getting hit more and more and more. And while he is finding submissions on guys like Garimbo, who just don't know what the fuck they're doing on the ground, I'm just not sure he's the same Luque of old, even at 33 years old. So I like Joel Alvarez here. Lands almost the same volume. I mean, half a strike less per minute at 4.5. Doesn't control the grappling time whatsoever, but that's because he's Joel Alvarez and he doesn't need to. If you take him down and put him on his back, like, you better know what the fuck you're doing, or you're getting reversed, or you're getting submitted from his back. So that's kind of how I'm looking into this one. And he does not. You mentioned if he gets messed up and shoots a takedown, he shot like 2 takedowns. That's it in his last in his 9 fights. One was against Brenner and one was against D. Casey. Neither of them came to fruition. So I'm hoping we don't. He's not just rushing in like that in this case at 9,500, because like you said, Luque's got. He's a son of a bitch if you put yourself in that Anaconda or Darce or any of those submissions that he is extremely good at. So I like Luque. I always have. I'm just a bit nervous about what he's going to look like, especially since that Jeff Neal fight. I don't know if he's more just laid back or if he's more careful, I should say. But the Garimbo fight is the only fight where he looked really kind of aggressive. I mean, he took Dos Anjos down 8 of 11 times, but Dos Anjos 38 years old. Garimbo, like I said, didn't really know what he was doing, but he's losing to good names. But again, he's just getting outstruck so badly in every single one. And Alvarez is not a low volume striker. I mean, I think of Alvarez and you might think of submission guy who can't wrestle, but he's also got very good striking. I mean, 4.5 per minute, and he lands that at a 54% clip. So you got to kind of
very good. There's a lot of volume in it now.
A lot of volume, but I mean, he's landing at a decent accuracy as well. So a lot of these times it's just guys throwing a ton, like Michael Aswell, for instance, 44, but he lands 9 a minute, but it's at 44%. So he's throwing a ton of strikes and he's not even connecting with half of them. Alvarez is kind of the opposite. I think he's going to put it all together, and I think he can finish Vicente Luque here, but definitely play both sides. If you're telling me Luque's 15%, I'd also like to, try to get over that.
Co-main event time. We've been alluding to it. Davis and Figueiredo, Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson's minus 305. Figueiredo is plus 255. Fight goes to decision is minus 160. That's strike one for me against Montel Jackson in terms of wanting to play him for DFS. I'm looking at a decision here probably. He's 9,000. Figueiredo is 7,200. It mostly is on the price side. But I am going to go ahead and I'm going to pick, as I've alluded to, Davis and Figueiredo. Look, Montel Jackson, I get it. He's on a 6-fight win streak, and he's looked good. Daniel Marcos is a decent win. Damon Blackshear, Hani Yaya, Julio Arce, JP Bays, Jesse Strader, Felipe Corrales, Andre Sukumta, Brian Kelleher, Rico DiSculo. Like, couple good wins in there. Lost to Brett Johns. Granted, that was 5 years ago. He got out wrestled. Did have a knockdown in that fight. Davis and Figueiredo, though, I think we got a little bit of an overreaction in this line to losing to Corey Sandhagen and Piotr Jan. Like, I can understand. I think I would still pick Davison. I can understand why Montel is favored. But why he's favored up at minus 305, very similar to the last fight we just talked about. I think this is too wide again. It's kind of the same exact scenario. Now, I know Figueiredo's 125-pound champ transitioning to 135. I don't think he's too small for the weight class. This is a great step up for Montel Jackson. And honestly, the fight Figueiredo should take or needs to have because he's lost his first 2 at 135. Totally get it. I just think Figueiredo presents more challenges. I'm a little worried about volume overall for both guys. If someone's going to grapple Figueiredo, I think can grapple. He's a little too comfortable off his back if Jackson gets the takedowns. But overall, in terms of level, like, I'm just not 100% sold on Montel Jackson. He's looked good, I think we're discounting how good Deiveson Figueiredo is because he hasn't looked great recently. Even if you disagree with me on that, I'm going to take Figueiredo for those reasons. If you disagree, I still think the salary is too big and the minus 160 are to me, it's rough for Montel Jackson. Unless you're just down on Figgy and then we just agree to disagree. And I think that's where Monk is going to go, and that's fine. But for me, Figueiredo at minus 160 to go to decision, a line too wide at plus 255 and 7,200 price tag, I think he's viable for cash. I'll be overweight to him on GPPs as well because, as I mentioned, I need some of these low 7K fighters with all the pay-ups I do want to jam in. So give me Figgy for those reasons. Monk, what you got?
Yeah, actually, I'm the opposite. I love Montel Jackson this week, but I also love the minus 160 goes to decision line. I love it. And he's only 9K. And why do I love it? It's because what I said earlier, takedowns and non-significant strikes. I mean, this is what puts you optimal consistently. And that's exactly what Montel Jackson does. I mean, 55% against Marcos. He's got 73% non-significant strikes, 68, 22, 74, 60, 38. We love to see that with mixed with takedowns and in every fight. Figgy's been taken down twice in both of his last two in both of his last two fights by strikers. Corey Sandhagen, 2 of 2, out controls him 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Figgy lands 6 strikes in a 9-minute fight. And yeah, well, maybe he was controlled by Corey. Well, he was controlled for 5 minutes. The fight was 9 minutes. What the fuck did he do in those other 4 minutes? Absolutely nothing is the answer. Peter Yan, striker, took him down once, out-controlled him 21-3. Figgy hasn't put up more than 3 strikes a minute since his last Moreno win in January of 2022. And yeah, I just don't know what he's going to look like here. Maybe he comes back to the Figgy of old. Who knows? But the size is going to matter here. We've got a 5-inch height advantage. We've got a 7.5-inch reach advantage for Montel Jackson. Like, I'm having trouble seeing what Figgy's going to do. His striking defense is terrible. Less than 50%, gets hit by almost a strike more than he absorbs. He gets out-controlled. He gets taken down as much as he lands takedowns. Like, I just don't know what this dude is going to do. Yeah, he beat Cheeto, Garbrandt, and Font, but Font can't wrestle. Garbrandt's terrible, and Cheeto Vera also can't wrestle. So, and he only landed 2 of 14 there and scraped away a 15-minute win. So I think Jackson's got the much better tools. He's much bigger. And I think, honestly, even at the 9K salary, I think he can pay this off with takedowns and control time and significant strikes on the ground. So, yeah, I think Jackson looks really good here. Give me a rebound off of his terrible score against Daniel Marcos. And but in that one, he got out-controlled and he got taken down a few times by Marcos. And I don't think that's going to happen here with Figgy. So I love Jackson at 9K. I'll have him in all formats.
Definitely the most we've disagreed in a hot minute. So one of us is going to have a good week.
For sure.
Charles Oliveira, Mateusz Gamrot. Main event time. Pick them. Pick your side. Looks like right now, actually, more books have Gamrot favored than vice versa. Mostly a pick 'em, but the slight juice towards Gamrot. And on the average, minus 150. Yeah, about minus 115 for Gamrot and around minus 105 for Oliveira. Oops. Your fight ends inside the distance is minus 250. Minus 115 under 3.5 rounds. I do not think this is a stackable fight. I think it's awkward. I think it's awkward pricing in terms of those into the distance numbers. Gamrot's 8,400. Oliveira 7,800. Tell me you don't like anybody else in cash. Go ahead and stack it up. I guess it's not the worst cash game stack, but I don't like it. I am going to take Charles Oliveira. Mostly, one, they're in Brazil. I know Oliveira he's getting towards the end of his career. I get it. But I've seen Gamrot hurt a ton on the feet, right? The dude gets hurt. Oliveira's going to be the better striker. Gamrot needs to wrestle. When Gamrot wrestles, all of a sudden that puts you in Charles Oliveira's submission territory. There's going to be no safe place for Mateusz Gamrot over 25 minutes. I think that can wear on you. He's also the one taking this fight on short notice. I'm leaning towards Charles Oliveira. I probably want to be, honestly, the main event fighters, the ownerships are always inflated. I do think I still want to be over on Charles Oliveira. This is not a spot I want to be over on both. This is Similar, I know Yuri ended up, not Yuri, Roundtree ended up losing that fight, but it's similar to that fight where I wanted Field over on Yuri and under on Roundtree, but still enough where if he won, I was going to be fine. Similar situation here. Like hypothetically, and then ownerships are at DFS Army. We'll have them all up later in the week. Make sure you subscribe down there. But hypothetically, both guys are 40%. I probably want 40 to 50 Oliveira, and I want to be in that 25 to 30% range Gamrot, where I'm under the field. I'll lose traction, but it's not going to crush me. Oliveira is my pick. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, I probably agree with a lot of that. You got to play both sides in all formats, I think, but I wouldn't stack it either. But you can pick either one in cash. You can pick either one in GPPs. I do love that aspect. I'm going to go with Gamrot here, very slightly.
Of course, this is the disagree. This is the disagree show.
One. Yeah, I'm going to go with Gamrot ever so slightly. And again, he's extremely consistent, especially in decision fights. He's only lost to pretty much the best of the best guys as well. I mean, not Ilya and Arman and Islam, but Dan Hooker and Beneil Dariush. They're not far behind, to be quite honest. Maybe a step or two, but it's not like way back. And when he wins, I mean, he's scoring 131 in 15-minute decisions, 117. Like, he's making tons of optimal lineups. But you said it. It is, if there's one hole in his game, it's that fucking chin. It is that chin. He's been knocked down like 4 times in his last 10 UFC fights. Oliveira can definitely crack for sure. But other than that, I mean, the statistics, the numbers are relatively even for the most part. The striking numbers are pretty much identical. Gamrot does land 1 takedown more per 5 minutes than Oliveira does, and he controls 90% to 10% of the grappling time, whereas Oliveira is more 50-50. But it's kind of like that Joel Alvarez thing. Oliveira doesn't have to be in control positions to get the job done. We've all seen it a gazillion times because he has the most bonus wins in all of the UFC. His defense does look a little bit more suspect overall because he gets chinned as well. But Gamrot is a little bit more worrisome, I think. So if he can avoid those shots from Oliveira, because Oliveira can surprisingly crack, I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be okay on the ground. He's never been submitted. That is correct. So this would be the first time. There is a first time for everything, but hopefully it won't be this one. If he can get Charles down and just control time, and then again, I feel like a broken record. Tons of non-significant strikes, which is what he does in these fights to score 130 points in 15 minutes. I think he has a very good chance of paying off. He's been optimal 4 times in 8 wins. Charles has been optimal 4 times in 5 wins. Charles has put a couple people optimal when he loses. But that's about it, man. And much like I meant to say this for Montel Jackson, who puts up 105 per decision win, Gamrot scores 110 per decision win. So that is an extremely high number. Most of the time you see guys, obviously the finish nets them more points than decisions. Not when you're a wrestler that actually is active on the ground, which is exactly what Gamrot is. So as long as he doesn't get chinned, I like his chances here. People were wondering, even in his last fight against Klein, like, oh, I don't know, Klein is this striker and da. Well, Gamrot just took him down a gazillion times and tons of control time, tons of strikes, significant and otherwise, and just racked up like 117 points in 15 minutes. So that's exactly what we are looking for. If he does that here at 8,400, that is basically a guaranteed optimal. So the average optimal value is 13.15x. He would need 110 to 110.5 to be optimal there based on that number. And I think he has the chance to go over that in a 5-round fight as long as he doesn't get chinned. It is so frustrating to watch this dude. He's got a 60% striking defense, and he's got he's been knocked down 4 times in his past 10 fights. It's just crazy. So he needs to shore that up. And I think he has a possibility to get a big win over a still very big name in Charles Oliveira. But again, play both sides because Oliveira could crack him. I could be wrong and Oliveira subs him on the ground. That is definitely a possibility. So love this fight. I can't wait to watch it. I agree with Sniper. Don't stack it, but play a bunch of this fight in your GPP games. I even like Gamrot. I like them both in cash separately. So you got to make that decision on your own. I mean, don't stack it. I mean, but yeah, I'm going with Gamrot here.
It's time for Gill Shots. Do not go anywhere. Got to do the show's namesake. First, though, smash the like button. Make sure you share with your friends. Subscribe at DFS Army. Tons of screenshots everywhere flying around. Come join the party. That being said, a kill shot is an under-owned GPP play that can help you take down a tournament. No main event. Yes, it can be a favorite. Who's going to be sneaky that can help you win it all? I'm not worried about us stealing each other's picks this week. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 2. One and honorable mention that I think I just don't want to get lost in the sauce here. 1, it's Davison Figueiredo. I don't think he should be this big of a dog against Montel Jackson. I think he's going to surprise some people like Monk, and 7,200 on this card is very, very valuable. Honorable mention, and yes, this counts. It would be, I almost did it just to piss off half a Discord. You know where I'm going, Monk?
Maybe.
Come on,
What
give me your guess. Oh, it would be,
I was
would
thinking
infuriate everyone.
Valter Walker.
No, he's too chalky. That would be too chalky. But you're in the right direction in terms of pay up. The most expensive fighter on the card, Via Mesquita. I think she's going to come in at like 20 to 25%. Oh, no, I'm not the ownership guys. The reason I don't do it.
That's probably close.
That seems too low to me at this minus 250 into the distance. Big grappling advantage. Like, I think there's pass here. Do not get. I wanted just to piss everybody off, but I understand she's the most expensive fighter on the card. But if you can get leverage anywhere, like Walker's going to be 40 to 50% owned. Like that's it's hard to get leverage on. I can get leverage on Bia. So mostly I'm just kind of a shout out to everyone who watches. Like, don't get lost on her. I won't make her the official kill shot. I'll stay with Davison. You bunch of bitches. Monk, who you got?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide. I guess I'll go with the huge underdog in Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I'm going to pick her as the kill shot. A second would be Stewart Nicoll, but again, that's minus 180 ITD. I don't know if I really like that a ton. Other underdog would be Fred Flintstone and Janata Denise, but I think Kowalkiewicz really fits most of my criteria here. We'll see if we can get lucky twice in a row.
Lucky one time.
That's right. One time
lucky. All right, guys. One more time. Smash the like button. I want to see everybody in the Discord rolling through. That's what we got for UFC Rio. For Monk, I'm Sniper. Good luck, guys. We'll see you at the top of the leaderboards. As always, have a good week.